Thank you very much once again. Let me welcome you back to this one aristocratic channel of ours, and this is called MATRIC+NATED Specialist. The last point is very important. Please tune on up until to the last concept that we are going to do today. We are going to look at Life Sciences grade 12, and then this is term 4's work. So if you want to do well pertaining your examination, you need to consider this thoroughly. So it is a part and parcel of the revision process. And then you can even take note there at the epicenter. It is for 2024 new version. So ensure that you are hitting the subscription button and ensure that you are sharing to those who are concerned without wasting time. Scientific investigation. So about the scientific investigation. So we are saying that in a study of science, all elements or all investigation, they must be proven beyond all reasonable doubts for them to be accepted or to be rejected. And this observation must be done now by the qualified personnel in order to find out what happened already. Remember that in grade 10 and in grade 8 previous grades, we're talking about now the photosynthesis as an aspect or the major topic. We have said that in terms of creating the hypothesis, the effect of the sun, it plays hypothesis. So we want to understand now it is an attempt to using what currently available may be. It must have two variables, which is a dependent and independent variable. One of the examples that we can use right now, we are saying you as learners now, you are the what? You are the dependent variable because of you are depending to the parents to pay the fees and to ensure that you are also living in terms of the supporting structure. That is one of the key examples that we can use. So what is a dependent variable? It is an object that is be functionable. So an independent variable, we are saying that it can be your parents. So irregardless of you being available or irregardless of any circumstances, the parents would be independent in this statement. And then number B, we have to state the relationship between two variables to be able to be testable. And number D, to state the independent first cause and the dependent effect. And then we are saying we are moving to variables right now. And then we can see we've got three types of variables. Number one, it is controlled or a fixed variable. Something that is fixed, it is not moving, it is at a constant. So it refers to factors that should be kept at constant so that the results of the investigation can be considered valid. Number two, we are having the independent variable. It refers to the factor that is being investigated. This factor usually it will be manipulated by investigator either at the start or during the course of the investigation. The independent variable appears to be the x-axis of the graph. I will show you further. And then the dependent variable, it refers to the independent variable. This effective is usually measured in some way and appears on y-axis. Now, the independent variable should be identified from all the aim of the investigation. You don't just make any investigation without the aim of the investigation. So you are saying that the aim of making or conducting this investigation is based on the factors that are identified at that particular time. What is reliability? Is the idea behind the reliability is that any significant, the word significant, it tells us about the importance. So you must take note, the word significant, it tells us about the importance of the results of the investigation must be done more than once of finding the repeatable. So for you to ensure that you are making the right precautionary measures, you need to repeat that investigation over and over and over again. Number two, for the questions which required learners to state out the reliability of the investigation could have been improved. The following answer apply. Repeat the investigation or increase the sample size. We will further see this later on. And what is validity? It is questions to show how the experiment or the investigation was carried out. It means how the investigation was done or how it was conducted. It is important to be sure that all factors, variables, have been controlled or fixed except the variables or factors being tested. In questions which require learners to suggest some factors that might have decreased the validity of an investigation, the answer should center on the criticism of the scientific process. For example, some factors or variables that were not fixed or controlled when carrying out. Okay, then let us move to the question. This is the last one so that we see what is it that we are talking about. All right. And then here we are given an instructions to say now, scientists conducted a survey to establish the relationship. So let us take note, this is the relationship between the age of the mother and the risk of having the baby with a Down syndrome. We have seen that this is what is trending right now. A Down syndrome, it is a trisomy. It is a genetic disorder which occurs on the 21st chromosomes. We are saying the 21st chromosome, but it appears that there would be 3 chromosomes which will result in a child having the trisomy or the Down syndrome. And we have seen these children, they cannot be able to speak very well. Their brain functionality does differently. And then we have seen this. This is a key concept, is the epicenter topic of the country. And let us also respect people with Down syndrome. We understand that these are also people, just a genetic disorder occurred in them. We need to accept them in the society. They are recorded the numbers of the babies born with Down syndrome per 5,000 births over 1 second and recorded the age of the mother. So in this relationship, we see that the more age of the mother or the more older the mother is, the more risk of having the Down syndrome. And this can be caused by varieties of factors, which we'll discuss later on under the topic now of genetics. That is when I will be answering your questions. And then we are saying now, the age of the mother, you can see this is the x-axis on the graph. And the numbers of the babies born with the Down syndrome per 5,000, this represents the y-axis on the graph. And then we can see if the mother is 25 years, children that can be expected to be born with the Down syndrome out of 5,000 is 10. We can see that the number is least, but as you grow older to up to 35, you can see it increases to, but 45 and over, it gets even worse. And we've got things that they are called the menopause as well. So this is in the risk effect of having the babies with such disorder. 1.1.1, we are having a question in 1.1. It says state 4 planning steps that need to be considered for this survey. And then we are seeing that we are having answers. How can we plan that we conduct this survey? And then in 1.1, we consult various hospitals. That way we can get information or maternity homes to gather and use the data they can provide or get permission from the hospital or maternity homes. Number 2, to get permission from the mother to use the data. Number 3, to decide how large the sample should be or the size of the sample must be taken into consideration, and make sure the sample include expectant mother of various age groups. So we are saying that pregnant mothers, they must be also be included, and which can be an information. And lastly, to decide on one-time period they will use to gather the data. Let us move on, and then you get your 4 marks. This is for your 4 marks. In 1.2, state the independent variable. Said to you, it is where on the x-axis and the y-axis. And what is the dependent variable? We are saying independent. It does not depend on something to function. And that is the what? The age of the mother. It is an independent variable. And variable, it is now the numbers of babies born with the syndrome. Then you get your mark. 1.4, state one way of improving the reliability. How reliable can we trust this information? How can we say that our findings are reliable? Of the results, we are saying in 1.4, we can conduct more than 1 year. Number 2, we can reduce in birth or to increase the sample size. Number 1.5, state a conclusions that can be made of the results of the survey. How can we conclude here based on the what? On the table that was given. And then we are saying that is the higher the risk of having the baby with the syndrome. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for tuning on. Ensure that you are hitting the subscription button and ensure that we are sharing to those who are concerned. We are also expecting questions on our comment sections. Thank you very much, and a good night.